And now, Society Network presents Homegrown After Dark, featuring Sammy J.
She was a lost girl living in this dark world. Nobody ever told her just how much she's worth.
Hey, welcome back to Society's Network, Homegrown After Dark. And today we have a special guest, Sammy J. Sammy,
hi, everyone.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, it's a complete pleasure. So, like every other artist inside here, what I do is I just start them off right off the bat. Why don't you let the public out there know, where did your journey towards music begin?
Oh, my journey began as a little girl in my room, really. I would jam Gloria Estefan, Shania Twain, and I would just sing into my hairbrush and envision myself on stage. And from there, I went to a small town Baptist church. I grew up in New Mexico, just south of Albuquerque, actually. Okay. A little town called Belen. And I went to a little Baptist church there and sung in the choir. I remember in 6th grade, I always knew I could sing, but I didn't do it in front of my family. I was very timid. I was shy. I didn't want to. I just wanted it to be my thing in my room, even though I envisioned myself singing in front of all these people and being on stage. I was very timid, as I'm sure most artists are. But in 6th grade, I had a solo in the choir. We were doing like a big Christmas thing at my church. And I was brave enough to try out and do a solo. And I remember my mom saying, she watched me sing and she said, "My child can sing." And from there on out, I kind of let it out.
So, I mean, were your parents musicians at all? Or
actually,
anybody in your
no.
family that maybe brought it out in you? No?
Not in my immediate family, no. My dad can carry a tune, but I never he was never involved in any sort of music happenings. My grandfather, played piano by ear. Amazingly, never took lessons, but I mean, he would just sit down and he would hear, I guess as a little boy, I heard a story. He would go to the picture show and he would go home and play the score. I mean, he had a true just affinity for music. Okay. And I grew up seeing him play. But other than that, not my immediate family. I'm kind of the only one.
It's wild because a lot of the guests that's been on the show, I ask them all, it's usually somebody in their family that inspires them.
Right, yeah.
For me, it was my younger brother playing the guitar.
Okay.
And I was like,
Your younger brother?
My younger brother is actually my music teacher. Of everybody, my sons are musicians. Most of my brothers are musicians, and we're all taught by my younger brother.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. You just never know.
You never know. He's a little teacher.
Age is just a number.
Yeah, so you grew up just south of Albuquerque, right? And so what brings you're in Texas right now?
So actually, I did start out in Texas. I was born in Houston, Texas.
Texas.
My mom is from there. My dad is from all over, but he ended up in Houston, Texas to start a company with his brother. And so they met there. They had my sister and I. And then my mom and dad both lost their businesses in the big oil crash of the 80s. Yep. And so they said, we're just going to start fresh. We're going to go somewhere that no one knows our name. So they packed us up. I was in diapers. Okay. And we moved to New Mexico just kind of on a whim. My dad always loved the mountains and the outdoors. And my mom had never seen a mountain in her whole life. So she said, you know what? I'm game for an adventure.
She must have been bred Houstonian, right?
Oh, bred Houstonian, never left.
Nothing but concrete.
Concrete jungle. Yeah. So he took the city girl out of the concrete jungle and we moved to New Mexico, and that's where I grew up. So, I always had ties to Texas. So I'd been all over Texas, but ironically enough, to visit family and such.
Yes, ma'am.
Ironically enough, I had never been to Austin, Texas.
Okay.
I'd been all around Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, all those, Lubbock, all the small towns, big towns, except for Austin. Okay. And so about 2013, I started to hear a buzz in was living in Albuquerque at the time, and I was hearing a buzz about Austin. And I had two really good friends move to Austin. And one of my friends, him and I were kind of starting a band in Albuquerque together. And then he just up and moved to Austin. And I was like, hey, we were starting something good. And he said, well, I'm going to go start it in the live music capital of the world. So I said, oh, okay. And so I was a little bummed, but I went to visit him and my other friend that had moved to Austin.
Okay.
And basically, I'm just one of those that I visited in, I believe it was 4th of July, and I was living in Austin by Labor Day.
There you go. Okay.
So my friend that had started the band in Austin, I ended up jamming with them on my visit, and they said, hey, we're looking for a female lead singer. Do you want to move to Austin? And I said, well, I can't move to Austin. And then I said, wait, why can't I move to Austin? I could totally move to Austin. And so I just made it happen. I quit my job, I rented out my house, and I was here 2 months later.
You know, sometimes good things come out of spontaneity.
Yes, and I was just never a spontaneous person in my whole life, but something just called me.
It does.
I was like, I have to heed this call before I talk myself out of it.
Okay, so you mentioned earlier your husband.
Yes.
Is he a musician?
He was not.
Okay.
But obviously I dated a lot of musicians, and then I said, I don't want to date any more musicians.
Yeah, no musicians.
I am one. I don't want to date one. So I actually moved to Austin on my own, single, ready to mingle. And I met my husband, who had also just moved to Austin about the same month, but from New York. So I say we moved from the new states, New Mexico and New York. Okay. And we met 8 months after I moved here.
Manifest destiny.
Right? I say I moved here to meet my husband.
Yeah.
I just didn't realize it.
Yeah.
So that was 2014. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. So, from 2014 till now, are you like, a couple of my guests are full-time musicians. I mean, they're just banging them out. Is that's what you do? I know you just said you had your business.
So I got a little sidetracked. So my background is in hair and makeup, and when I moved to Austin, I needed to do something for money, so I applied at a salon, got a salon job. So that was my kind of 40-hour a week thing. Okay. But I was in the Texas country cover band on the side when I met my husband. And then my husband and I had a whirlwind. So we met 8 months into me living in Austin, and then we were pregnant 2 months after that.
Well, there you go.
So I took a little sidetrack from music. Okay. I actually performed until basically I went into labor. My daughter was on stage with me in my belly. And then I took a hiatus, but gladly, I moved here to do music, and no, I hadn't fulfilled that yet, but 8 months. But I was like, wow, God knows me better than I know myself. He knew I probably wouldn't have slowed down to do the family thing, so he gave me 2 beautiful children, and I took a lot of time off to have my daughter, get married, and then, oops, I did it again. I had my son, and basically when my son was about 3, I started back. I couldn't ignore the itch. It was just kind of always there. Yeah. I said I need to complete what I came to do. So I still have my hair and makeup business, and now it's more of a mobile business. I do like bridal and photo shoots and event hair and makeup. But I started pursuing music again about 3 years ago.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, joined a 90s cover band, which was super fun. But then,
What kind of music were you for a 90s cover band?
Oh gosh, we did Weezer. It was myself and a male lead, so we could do whatever. We did Cranberries, goodness.
Did y'all do any Nirvana?
That was my qualm. I'm like, why are we not doing Nirvana? But this band was formed 7 years before I joined, and they just wasn't in their wheelhouse, I guess. Okay. I don't know.
I had to ask because whenever you say 90s, everybody thinks of Nirvana.
Yeah, it's kind of more poppy 90s, Hootie and the Blowfish, Third Eye Blind, a little bit of Weezer, Green Day, that kind of thing. So I did that for a while, but, I was kind of ignoring my originals. And this band, they weren't interested in doing that. They'd kind of been there, done that. They were more into the cover thing. So I just kind of branched off on my own, just me and my guitar. And I found a booking agent, and I'm like, hey, will you take a chance on me? I'm not very established. But yeah, so
you can mention that booking agent if you want.
Oh, Hey, Tammy Miranda of
Tammy Miranda.
TMMP. I know lots of you know her.
We all know Tammy.
Thanks for taking a chance on me, Tammy.
Tammy's cool.
She's very cool.
Yeah, she books for I'm going to say about 75% of the musicians that I know up here.
Oh yeah,
So,
definitely.
it's really cool.
Yes.
You know, and the ones she don't book for is because they have no loyalty. They use double booking agents and stuff and such like that.
Yes, she's great. I'm blessed to be under her umbrella.
Absolutely. So okay, so you went to the '90s cover band. You finally you peeled away to yourself, and so when you went out the first time to play, did you go to open mics or did you go to you like booked a gig? Went straight to Tammy? What did you do?
So on my own, I did a couple of open mic nights just to kind of get my courage up. And then I went to Tammy because she did book the 90s band.
Yeah.
And I went to her and I said, hey, you want to take a chance on me as a solo artist? And she's like, I'm going to give you White Tiger. Don't disappoint me and you'll get more. And so I did great at White Tiger. And that was it was almost a year ago. So I've been playing probably twice a week since then. I'm a mom and I am running a small business. So
I understand.
that's about all I have time for, unfortunately, until music starts to take over the hair and makeup a little bit more. That's the goal.
For this season, I'll be about 50-50 male to female artist.
I love that.
In season 1. And as I was telling a guest a couple shows back, Chrissy Taylor, the female artists have a harder time. 1, because they're taking care of their household. 2, most 99.9% of your female artists have full-time jobs, to where the male artists do not, because they have a wife or a girlfriend.
Wow. I didn't know those statistics, but I feel that. I'm blessed that my husband has a full-time job.
Yeah.
But I still love what I do, the hair and makeup. I want to, until music takes a little bit, I make a little bit more doing music. I still want to contribute. But yes, the kids. I'm a PTA mom. I'm a soccer mom. I'm a volleyball mom. I have the gigs. I have the hair and makeup. So it's a huge balance. I would say that's the toughest part, and it's the part that I have to remind myself not be so hard on myself when I'm not as far along as someone else I look at. I'm like, well, look at them. They have all the content. They have all the gigs. I'm like, okay, Samantha, be graceful to yourself. You are juggling a lot, So I'm hitting it as hard as I can, and it feels good.
One of the easiest things to do is look at your competition who has a lot of content, and then go and look at the ones where they got the most hits on their content. Now you know what to do, and all their other stuff not getting hits, what not to do.
Yes, you're right.
I tell everybody to do that. Mine's a little bit different. I don't necessarily go out and play, but all the content I create is like what we're doing right here.
Right, yes.
Just nonstop. And but anyways, that's the easiest way to find out what works and what doesn't work is go look at somebody's site.
Yes, you're right.
I spend a lot of time on like my TikTok, right? And I sit in there and I have a band room, right?
Okay.
That I have a couple of bands that rent it, right? So I sit in there by myself and just record songs live into my TikTok, right?
Wow. Okay.
Why do we do that? Revenue.
Yes.
That's why we do it. And I'll have 2 songs that are pretty similar sounding, but one will get me 7,000 views on it, and then the other one will get me 19.
Oh, interesting. You just never know what the algorithm is going to be.
You never know how it's going to hit. But anyways, I'm just saying, go look at your competition and see what's working for them. And there's nothing wrong. They say to emulate something. You know what I mean? It's the greatest honor.
Yes, it is. Yep.
Okay, so why don't we talk about the first song you're going to do today? And that's American Wino, correct?
American Wino. And that song is actually about my father. My dad, actually, in New Mexico, he has a winery. So he makes wine. This is something he started probably just as I was graduating from high school, around there. And it just kind of became his passion, which caught on and then, kind of became a good little income for him and my mom in addition to his full-time job. Yeah. And so he has a wine club that's called American Wino.
Oh, okay.
So the song is a lot less about a wino and just more about the essence of my dad, who I look up to so much. He taught me how to work hard. He's always been a huge, my number one fan. Well, Mom might be my number one. Dad's definitely number 2 with my husband. I don't know. But he taught me how to work hard. He taught me so many things. And so, I wanted to honor him by writing a song about him. It actually just came to me. I didn't even set out to write a song about my dad, but it kind of hit me. And I was like, oh, American Wino, okay.
Okay, well, I'm glad, because when you told me the name of the song, I'm like, oh, God bless it. Must be some water.
Some drunken,
drained from under the bridge, I guess. Okay.
Quite the opposite, actually.
Here we go. We got Sammy J doing her original song, American Wino.
He works from morning till evening with his hands, flies his American flag on his little plot of land. There's either a glass of wine or the Bible in his hands. He's my daddy and my definition of a man. He's tough as nails, but he'll cry at the drop of a dime. He loves my mama and he tells her all the time. He laughs the loudest of anyone else that I know. And his love pours out even faster than he makes the wine flow. Oh, he's an American wino. His coffee is almost as strong as his faith. With just one glance, he could always set us straight. And everywhere he goes, he has a smile on his face. He never meets a stranger anywhere, any place. Tough as nails, but he'll cry at the drop of a dime. He loves my mama and he tells her all the time. He laughs the loudest of anyone else that I know. And his love pours out even faster than he makes the wine flow. Oh, he's an American wino. Ow! Ooh, he's a simple man, a good book and a cigar, and he's content. And he'd give the shirt right off his back if he came across anyone who needed it. He is good and it shows. He's a man, he's my hero. Tough as nails, but he'll cry at the drop of a dime. He loves his family and for them he'll always sacrifice. He laughs the loudest of anyone else that I know. And his love pours out even faster than he makes the wine flow. Oh, he's an American wino. Ooh, he's an American.
Sammy J. What's your father think about it?
Oh, he's so proud. He's so proud. He plays it for everyone, and sometimes everyone in front of me, and I'm like, ooh. He's so proud.
Okay,
he loves
so
it.
you say he plays for everyone. Does he have a copy of it, or is that on Spotify?
It's
or
not
anything
out
like
on Spotify. I have one song out on Spotify, but I kind of just like low key recorded it and sent him an MP3.
that? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, excellent.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll do everything we can to address this as much as we can for you.
Awesome.
And
Thank
send them
you.
and be like, hey, Dad, here's a video too.
Right? He'll be so excited.
So that's awesome. Okay, so do you plan to, right now you're just getting back into playing. Do you plan to say where you're at home, you're like, honey, I'm diving in both feet. I'm just going to go do it. Do you plan to do something like that, or is it just something for right now to satisfy or scratch that itch you were talking about?
Oh, I would like to dive in. Yes. Yeah. We actually, my husband and I had the talk the other night. I said, I really want to ramp down hair and makeup and ramp up the gigs. And we kind of agreed we have a goal to pay off some debt. And then I think I'm going to get in the studio and really hit it hard. I have one song recorded, but it's expensive. And it's time consuming. So
it really is time consuming.
Yes.
I do.
So it is my plan. It is my plan to hit it hard.
Okay, well, there's a lot of studios out there, and if you ever, I tell all the guests this, but most of my guests come in there, I already know what studio they're going to.
I do know the studio I'm going to.
Okay.
Yep.
So if not, get back a hold of me because there's a studio in Burnett, city of Burnett, called Dup Studio. It is absolutely state of the art, blow your mind.
Okay.
And they actually build their own equipment.
Really?
Every microphone, everything's in there. They actually build it all.
Dub Studio.
DUP, Dub Studios.
Dup. Okay.
And they charge $50 an hour.
Oh.
Okay, so that's a good one compared to everything else.
May just have to reconsider.
Yeah. So okay. So y'all talked about diving right on in, and that's good because a lot of people don't have the support. I've had guests in here, and most of the guests I know, you're one of the very few that I don't know prior to you coming to the show. I know their spouses, but there's a lot out there that they don't get the support from their spouse.
It's hard. I mean, I can understand. The hair and makeup business has been very lucrative for me. So, I think there was a transition point in my husband's mind, oh, okay, you want to pull back? Oh, and it's hard. He's like, he's supportive, but of course he's like, well, is it going to pay? I mean, it's an unknown, right?
It is an unknown.
But he knows how important it is to me, and he's sacrificed a lot. I mean, not only, financially, but with his time, because if I have a gig, he has the kids, or he's bringing the kids to my gigs, which I always try to find family friendly gigs, which Tammy's great about giving me those. But yeah, it's he sees my heart, he sees my excitement about music, and he doesn't want to deny that.
Yeah, well, he's also a smart man.
He's a smart man, happy wife, happy life, right?
There you go. Yeah.
But he's been so supportive. I'm so blessed.
That's a good thing. So you want to dive right into it, and so I know you played a couple places. You played Adele's.
I played Adele's in town, yes,
Okay.
and same ownership, Flat Creek Winery.
Flat Creek Winery.
I'm actually coming up to play at Lucky Rabbit, I'm excited about that. I play around Austin too. Speakeasy, Eureka, 6th Street,
Yeah.
White Tiger, as I mentioned before.
Are they paying y'all out there on 6th Street?
Yeah, they are. They're paying well. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, most places.
Yeah.
Most places.
Back in the day, when I was younger.
Just a little bit younger.
Yeah, when I was back in my late 20s, we played a lot of 6th Street, and they used to have like the Vibe, and I don't know if that's even there no more. I don't go near 6th Street because I do shows and just live in this green room. Of
course, yes.
And we'd go out. Yeah, it was kind of not a paid to play, but we always had to sell tickets.
Okay, there are some gigs still like that, but there's a lot of pay
Good
to
ones out
play.
there.
There's great gigs now. You can make a decent living.
You can. I know all these full timers, and you got to play 5-6 days a week, but
Sure.
you can, and you'll match your earnings.
Exactly.
I mean, all the stuff that I do with the podcast and the radio shows, it's now getting to the point where it's going to eclipse my actual job.
Wow. See, now that's the goal. Goals.
Yeah.
You got to give me your tips.
Yeah. Focus.
Focus.
Consistency.
Focus.
That's what it is. If any of your peers ever look at you and say, well, you need to be better on this, we can always take it as constructive criticism.
Sure.
But most people are not giving constructive criticism. They're wanting to bust you down because you're competition.
Right.
So that's where the focus comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing changes. I look at this whole, everything I do right now for my living, I look at it as like a Terminator.
A Terminator.
Nothing.
My favorite movie when I was little.
Yeah, nothing's going to stop me. I do it regardless.
Yes.
And I've done it to the point to where a lot of my competition, I didn't have to go head to head against them. I just put them out of business because
you were focused and
focused and bringing in talent every week. I shoot 3 of these shows every single week.
Wow.
Yeah, I spend all waking hours editing.
Wow. Oh, I imagine. See, there's the killer, right? With content and everything. It's like the hours that you pour into editing and.
You know what makes it easy?
You love it.
I take the laptop with me and I do all my editing at our band room with all the bands playing. I sit there. I have a desk in there.
Okay.
Right, and I sit there and just do all my editing while everybody's playing.
Yep, I do that with at my kids' games or during their practices. Just whenever I can pull out the phone, get some in, I do it.
Okay, so I had brought up Adele's.
Yes.
And you playing there. You said you had met a gentleman there.
Ha. Richard.
Richard Westerman.
He connected Mel and I. Yes.
Yeah.
And you go through you do what you do, and there's times where you wonder if you're doing good.
Yes.
And I remember the first time I ever played at Adele's, which was not that long ago. I think it was maybe September of last year. And, you kind of, as a musician, you scan the crowd and you see, we are noticing more about y'all than you are noticing about us. We are noticing who's singing along, who's looking down, who looks bored.
Whose foot is tapping.
And it can just take you start to just go inside your head and you're like, am I doing good? Am I, and I just remember looking at Richard and his wife, and they had just flown in, I guess. I didn't know this at the time, obviously, because I didn't know them, but they had just flown in from Vegas and decided to grab a quick drink at Adele's, and they had just seen the Eagles at the Sphere. And I just remember him really intently watching me and just giving me that, without words, that positive feedback.
Right.
So of course, if I see someone doing that at one of my gigs, at my break, I always take the time to go introduce myself to that person, and that was Richard. And he complimented me. He mentioned that he is the president of the.
Yeah, he's the jefe.
Yep.
He's
El
the boss
Jefe of the Fiesta Jam.
Yep.
And he mentioned, and he did ask me to play a couple originals. That's before my break. And I was like, yo, man, no one ever asks me to play originals. Therefore, I was timid to play originals. Not so much anymore, but at the time. And so he said, your songs are really good. I think you should enter one of them into this Fiesta Jam. And, he just gave me such great encouragement.
Did you?
I did.
You did?
Yep, just recently.
Well, here's a cool thing about it. This program I released through Society Network, which is my the actual company I own.
Okay. Oh, okay. Nice.
And so I'll be the one out there doing all the interviews for everybody.
Oh,
So
I'll be there.
You'll see me build Society Network
Awesome.
tarp and all that stuff.
Okay.
I haven't decided if I'm doing a tarp or bring out my portable green screen.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I haven't
Portable?
decided. This is a portable, but I have one.
Oh, you have one that is portable.
You pull it up.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
great,
So,
awesome.
but yeah, I'll actually be the guy on the other side interviewing everybody there. So
I love it. Okay.
So that's cool. So I hope you do. Hope you do good.
Yeah. So yeah, Richard just continued to give me information about the songwriting. We kind of stayed in touch, and then he mentioned, he asked if he could pass my info along to you just recently. So that's how I'm here, y'all.
Yeah, and ironically, Richard Westman and his wife Cheryl, they own a business all called Miss Lollipops.
Yes.
Games and fun things, and anyways, they're one of my sponsors for this.
Oh, awesome! Love it.
You didn't know, manifest destiny.
Yes.
All right, so let's talk about the second song that you're going to do today.
Okay, well, that is the song that I entered into the songwriting contest.
Okay.
It's called Little Lost Girl. And that song was inspired by the many foster boys and girls that my parents took in. About when I was a sophomore in high school, my parents my mom came from a very rough upbringing, and she was able to turn it around. She broke the cycle. All she wanted was a nuclear family, which she never saw in her life. She didn't have an example, but she manifested that for herself. And so she wanted to take in kids that had gone through a similar upbringing that she did and show them that there's another way, and kind of teach them, you can break the cycle. We had a lot of kids come in and out of our home, and some of them were able to turn it around, and some of them weren't. And those that weren't, they kind of they started out not being loved, not being shown love. Therefore, they didn't love themselves, and they carried those tendencies into adulthood with their romantic relationships, with any relationship they had. And so it's not a happy song, but it's a realistic song of when a child isn't shown love, then they become a little lost girl or boy. And it's just kind of to bring awareness to kids struggles.
Kids are the most important thing. Everybody who knows me from the show and knows me in personal life, I scream about two things. That is women and the children. Because the mother creates strong men. Everybody says it's dad. They are 100% incorrect. It is the mother. You know what I mean? You ever notice the daughters tend to being drawn towards their fathers?
Yes, absolutely.
Right. That's the way it is.
Some of the strongest men I know, just friendships, and were raised by single mothers. So that's just a testament to what you're saying.
Yeah, I was raised by a single mother, and I have 4 brothers, all boys.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
Oh my gosh.
And all of us
Bless your
within
mom.
10 years. 5 of us within 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah, we always told her she was lucky.
Jeez.
But
I can't even imagine. I have one boy, and he is rambunctious.
Yeah, well, she had all of us. All right.
Oh man.
Well, we'll hit this a little bit more, but right now we're going to enjoy another original song by Sammy J, "Little Lost Girl."
Hey, I'm Sammy J, and this is my original song, "Little Lost Girl."
Ooh. Hey. Well, she was a lost girl living in this dark world. Nobody ever told her just how much she's worth. She did what she could to catch the wandering eyes. She said we'll work to get her home that night. No intention of staying till the sunrise. He leans in close and whispers to her sweet lies. And he says, put on that lipstick, princess. Pour you another glass of wine. Don't you twist it, I'm your hero tonight. I just want one kiss, he says, miss. As his hand slides up her thigh, it'll be a little secret, darling, just close your eyes. Ooh, pour you another glass of wine. Ooh, just close your eyes. Ooh, you can go home if you like, but you're damned if you do and damned if you're victimized. Shh. He's got the silver tongue of a handsome devil. Hey, mama says stay away, that boy's trouble. Is he aware of all the damage she's done? Telling other girl that she's the only one. Well, I guess that's what you get when daddy never came home. The boy's eyes dried up and his heart turned to stone. So he says, put on that lipstick, princess. Pour you another glass of wine. Don't you twist it, I'm your hero tonight. I just want one kiss, he says, miss. As his hand slides up her thigh, it'll be a little secret, darling, just close your eyes. She was a little lost girl, he's the devil in disguise. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Pour you another glass of wine. Ooh, just close your eyes. Ooh, you can go home if you like, but you're damned if you do and damned if you're victimized. Hey. Her tears are always there to tuck her in at night. The only light she sees are headlights leaving her dry. He wonders if his tired soul will ever be revived. She wonders if she'll ever really matter in this life. Ooh. Still he says, put on that lipstick, princess. Pour you another glass of wine. Don't you twist it, I'm your hero tonight. I just want one kiss, he says, miss. As his hand slides up her thigh, it'll be a little secret, darling, just close your eyes. She was a little lost girl, he's the devil in disguise. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Pour you another glass of wine. Ooh, just close your eyes. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. You can go home if you like, but you're damned if you do and damned if you're victimized.
And that was Sammy J with Little Lost Girl. So is there anything else you on that marvelous song that you would like to add in? I mean, you brought up about the children and stuff like that. Does your parents still do that fostering thing?
No, my mom is retired. Well, she actually went back to work probably 10 years in. Years in. You know, it's a labor of love. She did treatment foster care, so these were kids that had been abused and neglected. So, you know, it took its toll. She's you know, fulfilled her mission, and she decided to go back and work for the foster care agency, just kind of a full-time role. I would encourage, you know, there's a lot of infertility out there, sadly. So I would encourage anyone whose heart is, you know, geared towards children, just to consider foster care. You could even do respite care, which is where you kind of you get certified to give foster parents a break. Like, you know, you take a weekend, because the transformation I saw in these kids, I mean, I didn't realize, because I grew up in such a cushy Brady Bunch family, I knew, but I saw what these kids, that not everyone has a cushy, loving family to grow up in.
Right.
And so it was wonderful to see, to just love on these kids and just see them start to love themselves in turn.
There's nothing better. You know, my wife, she works for the Highland Lakes Family Crisis Center. And there they take in women that come from, you know, battered marriages, or relationships, domestic violence. And it is so wild. We used to live right across the street from there, right? And she had just started there. And I remember one day I'm sitting in a recliner looking out the door, and I could see the building where they had housed the women at, right? And Here comes this little boy, little Spanish boy, come walking across. He walks directly up my lawn in my door.
Oh my gosh.
Walks straight up. He's crying the whole time, and my wife's looking.
Baby.
You know, she's at work, and I'm looking at my daughter and my other kids. They're like, Dad. I'm like, I don't know. And he crawled right up in my lap, and the kid went to sleep.
Oh.
And that was wild. So he sat there for a minute. I had to send my son next door to say, hey, this is where the child's at. And
Wow.
he didn't want to leave. He ended up sitting in my lap for probably about 3 or 4 hours, sleeping
These
away.
kids just want to be loved.
They
And
do.
they didn't ask to be put into the situation they were in. They're innocent bystanders. So, wow, that's just
Yeah, it's a wild thing.
something you'll never forget.
No, you don't. Remember the women and the children. And real quick, I got to let know about my sponsors real fast.
Absolutely.
Okay, so anyways, you know, if you're looking for that loan for those tough times in between payday, or you want to buy that special ring or the guitar for your nephew, however, come on down to Lakeside Pawn and Jewelry right here in Marble Falls, Texas, and you can get that loan, get that jewelry, that beautiful ring, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Yep. And then when you get done with that, all you do is head down to downtown Marble Falls, and you will find a nice little spot called Miss Lollipops
Yes.
Games and Fun Things. You'll see old Cheryl inside there dressed up in her, I guess it's a clown costume, but you will
Yes.
find some most amazing things that'll make you realize that you just hit one of the most special spots in the Texas Hill Country. That's Marble Falls, Texas.
Oh.
There we go. Okay, so you enter the contest, okay?
I did. My first time ever entering a songwriting contest.
Okay,
So,
so-
that felt great.
Right. You know, here's the thing. I bet you're going to have a shot,
Yeah.
okay? Yeah, because the last couple of years they've had a lot of contestants, but it's been the females winning most of the time.
Okay.
Although the man normally takes the top award.
Watch out, boys. Watch out.
She's going to hit you with the left hook here. Left hook. Okay, so do you have any sponsors that you're working with or anything like that at this point?
I don't. Not at this point.
Okay.
Not at this point. That's something that I need to delve into, and maybe you can give me a little advice off camera on that. But
Give you a
no,
whole
not
li-
yet.
whole list of sponsors you can start calling.
I love it. I love it.
Okay.
Tell me how to play the game.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. All right. So we're winding down. Okay.
All right.
And we're winding down here real quick. So where's the next place you're going to be playing at?
Okay, let's see. Actually, a little sushi restaurant in Lakeway.
Okay.
I frequent there. It's Bluefin Sushi.
Okay. I've eaten there before.
Just right on. Oh, is it 620? I think it's 620. Yeah, great sushi, great ramen. That's going to be May 3rd from 6 to 9. So you can catch me there. After that, it's going to be, I'm taking the rest of May off. I'm going to my 20th high school reunion in New Mexico. And then I'm hitting it hard in June. I have Speakeasy. I have Lucky Rabbit. Several
That would
other.
be Lucky Rabbit in Jonestown?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
That's a rocking little town.
It is. I
played
love
there
it.
a lot. Back in the day, I used to play there all the time.
Okay, awesome. You guys can catch all of my gigs if you follow me on Instagram. Can I promote?
Yeah, promote yourself. Promote away.
At Sammy J Music 512, and that's SAMMYJ Music 512. If you follow me, I kind of list all my gigs there, post videos and other content. So I would appreciate the support and the follow.
And remember, the young lady needs sponsors. That's how they do
Ooh,
this.
she needs sponsors.
Yeah, and you've really been out of school for 20 years.
I have. Shh.
Go figure, you know what I mean? 20 years. All right, so that is Sammy J for this episode of Homegrown After Dark. And we'll see you next time.
Bye. Thank you for having me.
You want some cash, you want it fast, just go to Lakeside Pawn. If you need a loan for your office or home, just go to Lakeside Pawn. They got instruments and strings and guns and lots of things. So remember, if your loved ones have been gone, you can't get cash for that ring and a new guitar to sing. Just go to Lakeside Pawn. Just go to Lakeside Pawn.